Hello, everybody. We're going to do the news radio style. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't like it. I'm always trying something new to see if it can improve the viewership of my channel. So we're going to do the Villages news. I've got a lot of news because I haven't done anything for a couple weeks now. So I'm just going to pick out major stories and work through these as fast as I possibly can. By the way, I want to give acknowledgement to where I get most of my news. Most of my news, I get them from the villagesnews.com. It's not affiliated with the Villages, the developer, or anything. That's just the name of it. Villagesnews.com. A man with a sport utility vehicle full of illegal immigrants has been busted on Interstate 75 in Sumter County. The gray 2019 Dodge Journey with Alabama license plates was pulled over at 3:25 p.m. Tuesday due to rear windows that were illegally tinted. According to arrest reports from the Florida Highway Patrol, a traffic stop was initiated near mile marker 31. The owner of the vehicle was identified as 33-year-old Simon Mendoza Robles by his Mexican ID card. He had a quantity of U.S. currency in his pocket. The report said there were 5 men in the vehicle who were from Mexico who traveled illegally into Arizona. They made it to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which each paid $200 to $300 for transport to Tampa. Men appeared to be extremely disheveled. One of the men described being in a stash house in Arizona with 20 to 30 migrants. The arrest report noted an air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror, an additional air freshener and passenger side. The driver was identified as 43-year-old Raimundo Temasto Ramos of Mexico. I know I messed that up. He also admitted he was in the United States illegally and had crossed into Arizona. Border Patrol took the men into custody and determined that they had been in the United States for less than a week. Robles was arrested on 6 felony counts of human smuggling. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. This is the 4th major human smuggling arrest within the past 30 days on I-75. Yes, it is. This idea of open borders is stupid. I can't believe our nation has turned into this. Wisconsin widow attempting to sell patio villa in violation of deed restriction. A Wisconsin widow is apparently attempting to sell a patio villa which is under the cloud of a deed restriction violation. The home at 1984 Peaceful Path in the Fairhope Villas in the village of St. James was the subject of a public hearing Friday morning before the Community Development District 8 Board of Supervisors. The home has been listed by Kathy Collins of Property of the Villages, and a pending sale sign is on display at the patio villa. During the public hearing, the CD8 Board of Supervisors viewed photographs of rock put down as ground cover at the home. The homeowner put the rock down without the approval of Architectural Review Committee and tried but failed to retroactively win the ARC's blessing. Rock is only permitted as an accent in landscaping at patio villas in CD8. I don't need to go any further. I've said it a million times. Before you do anything to your property, you need to check with your deed compliance or call the offices. Just double check. Now, this lady's not going to be able to sell this home until it's brought back into compliance. I've warned people many, many times, but apparently these people don't watch my channel. A homeowner in the Villages who won't open the door or answer the phone has been found in violation of deed compliance. The home located at 2428 Southern Oak Street in the Southern Oak Villas in the village of Lynn Haven was the subject of public compliance hearing Friday morning before the Community Development District 5 Board of Supervisors. A complaint was received September 22 about overgrown weeds at the property. The complaint was verified the next day. Community Standards has made multiple attempts to contact homeowner 67-year-old Denise Martyr, including by certified mail. Phone calls and knocks on the door have gone unanswered. A vehicle was parked in the driveway in a photo submitted by Community Standards. A vehicle was in the driveway Friday morning. The utilities at the home are current and property taxes have been paid in 2021. Martyr purchased a villa for $116,800 in 2000. 2005. She receives a tax bill at a post office box in Oxford. The board found Martyr in violation of deed compliance. She was given 3 days to bring the property into compliance. If she fails to do so, she'll be fined $250 and an additional $250 fine will be imposed each time the district is forced to maintain property. Not answering the door, sticking your head in the sand. You'd be surprised how many people around here do that. The problems never go away. I can't even begin to tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of emails I've got from people saying they don't like my channel because I give out negative reports on things. They don't like that. Okay. Continue to stick your head in the sand. Don't pay attention. And when the day comes you have problems, can't say you didn't know. 80-year-old widower wins additional time to bring property into compliance. I reported on this. If I could show you the picture here, you'd see it. And I am very sympathetic to this gentleman. He's trying to do right. And I'm glad that the board give him additional time because his story was so sad. Letter to the editor. Old Sam Jackson, former doctor, almost had me convinced that Medicare Advantage plans were not good for us old people until he slipped in that it was a nefarious plan by the GOP. Now I'm really confused. Can I trust a former progressive doctor, or do I need to seek out a former conservative doctor and get a second opinion? I wonder if old Sam Jackson might be Mr. Ginty's private former doctor. You know, Dick Jones from the village of Pennicamp. Your letter here to me is totally asinine. Villages complain. Florida-friendly landscaping has turned their neighborhood into a jungle. I agree. I see that in my neighborhood, and I live in a fairly new neighborhood. The villages pushed this. They pushed it. So, you know, natural things in your yard was actually better for everything. Well, the people planted it, and some of these things, you know, you really can't trim. You really can't do much with, and they run. They have roots that run through your grass and pop up stuff everywhere, even in your neighbor's yard. And now we're having problems with it. I was against it when I seen the very first yard in the villages where somebody went out of their way and had the help from the agricultural people to come and help them lay their landscaping out. And they did that, and they were using it as a way of showing other people how good this can look. When it was first planted, yeah, it looked great. Guess what? 5 years later, you couldn't hardly see the house. It was disgusting. And I told Sue, I said, we're never doing that. I don't care what they say. I'm never doing that. I'll have no landscaping at all before I do that. Just beware. You're going to hear rumors around here. They run wild. Some are true, some are not. Some just personal opinions, and some are fact. Facts is Florida's friendly landscaping can turn your yard and your neighbors into an enemy. An 83-year-old villager who blamed Trump for a golf cart crash back in jail again. I don't even know how to even respond to that. A suspected prowler in the villages fined after spending a week in jail. A suspect prowler who was carrying a flashlight when he was apprehended in the wee hours in the villages has been fined and then released after a week in jail. Grand opening date announced for new restaurant in Brownwood. The Island Fin Poke chain of restaurants was established in 2016. Area locations can be found at Winter Springs, Lake Mary, and Orlando. The restaurants offer a cool, casual environment and a beach-themed decor. The menu includes homemade sauces, 25 toppings, and sustainable source fish. They got that time just right, just in time for the snowbirds. Villager seriously injured after knock from golf cart in crash near Colony Cottage Recreation Center. Be careful. Recreation Department to begin accepting New Year's Eve reservations on December the 1st. I'm late reporting that, ain't I? Villager tasered after police chase hopes to resume peaceful contact with wife. Trio arrested in vehicle burglaries after caught on video surveillance. Death of more than 1,000 manatees this year spurs response from officials. Here's a letter to the editor about that house that's for sale. That's out of deed compliance. Let's see what they got to say. To the editor, this letter is in response to the article, Wisconsin Widow Attempting to Sell Patio Villa in Violation of Deed Restrictions. The sale pending sign was posted by an agent working for Property of the Villages. It is unethical for that real estate agent not to inform potential buyers that the home is not in compliance with the deed restrictions. Shouldn't the elected members of the CD8 Board of Supervisors have asked that question. That's sent in by John Costura, the village of Belvedere. I totally agree. And I think if that house gets sold, and if the new owners have to start spending a lot of money to get things brought up, I think a lawsuit should be in place for not only there, but to the property of the village's real estate company called Truth and Disclosure, and that should have been disclosed. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that won't happen. I'm just saying. But from my experience, I have sold with property of the villages, and I've bought a couple with property of the villages. And I can only tell you, because I worked with one or two realtors, and that was it. I don't know what the other ones do down there. And I made sure I worked with a realtor, not a sales agent. And they were upfront with me 100%. Just saying. I had no problem with them whatsoever. The Villages submits construction plan for 7 apartments at Katie Bell's. Yes, it's going to happen. Speeding driver with methamphetamine arrested near Boone Gate in the Villages. Boone Gate is in the up there at the historical side of the Villages, one of the older sections. Here's another letter to the editor. Hopefully it's not like a book. It's not. To the editor, supposedly there are no rules for what you fly on a flagpole. I don't know that that's true, but maybe it is. That's why you see Trump flag flying with the flag of the United States. Based on that no rule, you can also fly a Nazi flag. I have mentioned this many, many times. A Confederate flag. Yes, you can. An ISIS flag. That's the way I understand it. A Russian flag or any other flag. And that was sent in by Siandra, a village of Tamarind Grove. I've mentioned this before, and I got ridiculed about it. People sent me, I had people actually unsubscribe from my channel because they didn't like the fact that I brought that up, but it's a fact. If you have a problem with a Trump flag, or if you have a problem with a Biden flag, I'm trying to keep politics out of this, or any other flag, and then people argue saying, well, if I can't fly that flag, then you can't fly the American flag. Flag is a flag. Rights are rights. You don't have to agree with them, but that's the way it is. So if you say, I want to fly, I don't know, let's get religion in here too. I want to fly a Christian flag. That's my right. I want to fly it, and I'm going to fly it no matter what. So they changed the rules. Okay, you can do that. Once they do that, the guy next door to you, he's Jewish. He can fly a Jewish flag. I don't even know if there is such a thing. I'm making all this stuff up. Just understand, I'm trying to get to a point. And then the guy next to him says, well, I'm a Muslim. I'm going to fly the Muslim flag, whatever that is. And then it goes crazy, because this is why the Villages has rules that they got, because they know that most people are going to go nuts. They're going to push it to the limit. That's why they say none. You can't have none. And then even though you argue about it, that's what the little white cross is about. It's a Christian symbol. I got no problem with it. Most people don't. But the reason why they say no is because the next guy is going to want to have a Nazi cross in his flower bed if they say it's okay to have that. And people push things to the limit. They will. They always will. And so if you don't want that to happen, you got to stop it somewhere. You can agree. You can disagree with me. That's fine. But that's just the way I see it. Wildwood population surges by more than 5,000 as 270 homes added every month. Villager who videoed undressing grandchildren sentenced to sex offender probation. Listen, somebody's going to have to take this in control here. And I would just love to be able to start something here, but I don't know who to get a hold of. I have left messages at the Sumter County Sheriff's Department with no response. A villager who shot videos of his granddaughters as they undressed in a spare bedroom at his home has been sentenced to sex offender probation. Probation. You can't really cure a sex offender except but one way, and it has to be 6 feet under the ground. And I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just simply saying you can't cure these people. They never get cured. They always continue doing what they do. They just learn from their past mistake, and they do a different way the next time. And they're sick people, and they're never going to be cured. You need to take a picture of this guy and put a picture of him at every family pool in the Villages anyway, with a phone number underneath of it saying, if you see this guy, call this number, which would be the state sheriff's department or whoever is in control of that area. Earl Vincent Knight Jr. has lived on the historic side of the Villages, pleaded no contest Monday in Lake County Court to 5 counts of possession of child pornography and 8 counts of video voyeurism. He has been placed on probation for 5 years and will have to register as a sex offender. He must also pay $3,136 in court costs. In addition, he is prohibited from having contact with the victims in the case. Court records indicate locate the victims. His granddaughters were present for the sentencing. Knight will not walk free. He is being held at the Bristol County Rhode Island warrant charging him with a second-degree child molestation sexual assault. See, he did this up in Rhode Island too. Knight was originally arrested October 27, 2020 at his home on Andrews Boulevard by agents from the Florida Department of Enforcement. When agents arrived at his home on the day of his arrest, Knight provided passwords for his phone, iPad, and desktop computer and admitted he looked at pornography on his computer using Periscope, according to an arrest report. When an agent began asking about videos recorded inside the home Knight has occupied for more than 5 years with his wife, he asked for a lawyer and stopped cooperating. Stay away from him. He's not your buddy. You darn sure don't want your grandchildren around this guy. He's nuts. He's a whack job, and he'll never be cured. Never. Village of Bradford woman gets hole-in-one at Palmer Legends. Congratulations. Number of visitors to Florida rebounds to pre-pandemic levels. I've heard this. It seems like, at least around the villages anyway, when they say to visitors to Florida, they're basically talking about the beaches, the tourists that go to Disney World, places like that. That's where they really keep track of the numbers. But I can say here in the villages, it seems like it's busier this year than it has been the last couple of years. Letters to the editor. To the editor, why don't we hear about anything being done with the DAs and judges that are continually releasing violent criminals back out on the streets after multiple offenses, like the guy in Wisconsin? When are we going to start getting rid of these officials? That's sent in by Jack Hooven, Summerfield. Well, Jack, here's my opinion. We still have a bunch of wackadoolies that's up there in Congress and the Senate up there. They're all nuts. I think every one of them should have to take a psychological test before they're allowed to run for office. But guess what? It's our fault. We keep voting these dumbasses in. The Village's 2021 Christmas parade is set for December 11 at the Polo Field. It's a fun time. If you ain't never been there, go there. I think I reported this a couple weeks ago, last time I'd done news about a son exploiting his elderly father. I didn't really find out exactly how he was exploiting him. I don't know. It didn't really report that. But anyway, for those of you that sent emails, I didn't get that many, but for those of you that were concerned about the elderly guy, his name's George Sisk, by the way. His son is Daniel Sisk. Here's the update on that. An 83-year-old Lady Lake man has been located and is safe, while his 55-year-old son spent Thanksgiving behind bars and is dogged by allegations of exploitation of his elderly father. George Sisk, missing October 20, have last been seen at the Marriott Town Place Suites Hotel at Spanish Springs in the Villages. A silver alert was issued in connection with his disappearance. He was located earlier this week and is said to be safe, according to the Lady Lake Police Department. That's the end of part one. I'm going to turn this into a two-part series because I got so much news. And one lady said it was too long, so let me shorten it up. But if I can ask each and every one of you, please hit that thumbs up, give me a like, and please subscribe. That's all I ask. Thanks all of you, and I'll see you in part two.